Hey, this is Dr. Tasha Rogers, and I am back, gang. Today I want to talk about something that I seem to get a lot of questions about. Really interesting to me, but I get a lot of questions about sex drive and libido from younger women. And when I say younger, I mean anywhere from like mid-20s up to about 40. And my answer for libido issues in younger women doesn't have anything to do with hormonal stuff. And so let's talk. Let's talk. If you're a woman and you're just like, I'm not having any problems, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not the third thing, I just don't want to have sex. It's not comfortable. I don't get wet because I don't want to do it. And then I'm miserable and it hurts. And then I really don't want to do it. So let's have a conversation, girls. Come on in here. Close the door behind you. Grab a glass of wine. Let's talk. So put your phone on Do Not Disturb because I need this call not to be interrupted. So libido. Here is the first pearl that I'm going to drop on you. You ready? Your clitoris does not listen to what's happening with your vagina, what's happening on your body. Your clitoris listens to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind. So if you low-key are pissed at this man, you know that he's cheating, you haven't said anything, maybe you saw some posts on Facebook, maybe he liked somebody's stuff on Instagram, maybe you seeing these little Cash App payments or whatever is subconsciously bothering you, when that person comes to you like, hey, let's have sex, you're not gonna be with it. Again, if you're exhausted, like, I don't know why people think because you have a vagina it's supposed to be ready to be used at all times. If you are busy, you have a busy schedule, maybe you're in school, you have 2 jobs, maybe you have a child that is just a handful, and it's just keeping you really distracted, maybe you gotta cook, or you just have a lot on your plate, that also will do it. Because again, in the back of your mind, what are you thinking? I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do the 3rd, 4th, and 5th thing. You're not just letting everything go and being completely engaged in the moment. That's not what you're doing. You're thinking about everything else that you have to do. So kind of a people pleaser kind of moment, but I guess you're doing it because you think you have to, or because you think you should, based on your relationship or whatever situation. But the point is you're not engaged and you just don't want it. Also, another thing that I see that tends to block younger people are religious things. And that is, if you are raised in a highly religious family, you were taught that sex before marriage is wrong. You were taught that you shouldn't just be randomly having sex. You're going against the will of God, and just highly religious things. Well, whether you believe it or not, those things seeded. Those things are part of your mental. Those things are part of your spiritual and emotional being. So again, back of your mind, way deep down inside, you feel like you're doing something wrong. And so you're not engaging the way that you need to engage, or the way that you should engage, in order for your body to be receptive and for you to enjoy it and want to do it. Unfortunately, we also see it sometimes with people with abuse, that they dissociate sex from pleasure. And so therefore they derive no pleasure from sex just because of their previous experiences, and that can be a cause of it also. Also depression. Now, I think it's very interesting that they just came up with a couple of drugs for women. We'll talk about those. Couple of drugs for women for libido, right? But before then, it was you go to your doctor and you're like, yeah, I just don't want to have sex. Oh, they write you a quick prescription for an antidepressant. I didn't say I was depressed. I didn't, and I might be, but I didn't say that. I didn't lead with that. I said I didn't want to have sex. Maybe you should have done a depression score. Maybe you should have said, see, looking at this, based on your answers, you're kind of depressed. That may have something to do with it, okay? Sometimes, it can manifest in that way. And if we've exhausted everything else and we've done a depression score and we have the signs and symptoms that are consistent with depression, then we should probably treat the depression. And that may help out some. Also, sometimes hormonal stuff like birth control pills, not all, and not in all situations, can somewhat damper our sex drive or our desire for sex. Okay, so if you found yourself in a situation, none of that is your case, and you're like, no, 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 none of that is me, no, 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 no. Well, there are a couple things you can do, sis. A couple of things you can do. There are two medications that are out on the market. One is called Addyi, and Addyi is ADDYI. I think I'm gonna like write all the names of this stuff down below, so that you guys, I'm not putting in links. That's too technical. I don't do the technical stuff, but I'm gonna write the stuff down below so that you guys can look it up, research it if you're interested in any of it. But Addyi, it's called ADDYI, and it's a medication. You take it once a night, and it's supposed to help with sex drive and libido and all of those things. The issue is that you're really not supposed to take it with alcohol, and I'm like, okay, well, you're at night, and alcohol, well, doesn't that kind of, everything goes hand in hand? So what we're really doing here? But anyways, so Addyi is a medication that you could possibly take, and it is supposed to stimulate, you know, your sex drive or your desire for sex. I've literally prescribed it maybe like 1 or 2 times, and I prescribed it probably like 4 or 5 years ago, when it was very, 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 very new, and I really didn't hear back from the patient. I don't know, not about that. I don't know if it wasn't covered by insurance or whether it was too expensive. With it being new and with it being a sexual desire drug, it probably wasn't covered by insurance. So I really never heard how well it worked, and nobody that I'm cognizant of or aware of or know about really talks about it too much. So I don't know how well it works. All intents and purposes, I don't know. So and then there's a new one called Vyleesi. I hope I'm saying that right, but it's Vyleesi, and Vyleesi is an injection. Girls, it's an injection, and it's supposed to do the same thing as the Addyi, but it's not an oral pill, it's an injection. And it's just kind of like, I guess kind of like the what do you call these, the weight loss shots. It's that kind of needle, so it's like a boom pop, and it's supposed to help with that. You're supposed to do it about 45 minutes before the bust down. I don't know how well it works. It'd really be interesting to know, but I'm sure insurance doesn't cover it. But if medicine is not your thing, it does not sound like this will be an interesting thing to do for you. You know, I'm always here with alternatives, ladies. So I did a little research, and a lot of them I knew because you guys know I have a vag steam, and part of the vag steam is just getting a lot of your reproductive organs together and using Chinese medicine. So a couple of these I knew already and I know what they do, but a couple of them I did not. So again, I'm going to write everything down below. But here, okay. So the first one is red ginseng. And this is all herbal. I would truly recommend looking up a Chinese herbalist, or somebody who practices Chinese medicine. But here are a couple of herbs in general. You probably can get those at your local herbal stores, the Herb Shop. What is this other place? The Herb Shop, Savananda. So you probably can get them at a couple of those places, okay? If you're in Atlanta. Otherwise, whatever herb store. And it'd be best if they had an herbalist, because I'm going to tell you about one of these herbs that makes me a little. So first of all, we have red ginseng, and red ginseng is supposed to improve your sexual function. It also helps with erectile dysfunction in men, and it helps with arousal in women. So again, I'm not exactly sure like what the time frame is something is going to take to work, how well it works. I'm just giving you the news. Okay, I can't get all into the weather. Now, maca. Maca is one that we use with our vag steams, and maca is generally ground into a powder. Maca is very interesting because with the vag steam, maca helps with vaginal tightening, but it also helps with sexual desire. It improves sexual desire. And I'm sure there are various different ways to take or ingest or whatever maca. I don't know. I know about the vag steam part of it. I don't know if there's like an oral pill or whatever the case may be. But maca, M-A-C-A. Anyway, ginkgo biloba. We know that ginkgo is one of the best But ginkgo increases blood flow to the genitals, and so that gets everything pulsating. It improves your sexual function. It improves the desire and all that. I don't know about desire, but it improves the sexual function. But because it gets those genitals, pulsating. Okay. Now this one I've never heard of, and I'm praying I'm saying it right. It's Tribulus terrestrius. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it helps with mild to moderate erectile dysfunction, but it is also used in, I believe, Chinese Ayurvedic medicine, which I think is like Indian medicine, and that's used for as an aphrodisiac. So it does help with desire, and it also helps with erectile dysfunction. Okay, y'all see where I'm going with this, and we'll talk. Fenugreek. Fenugreek is one kind of got to be a little bit just with that one, because it helps improve your estrogen as well as your testosterone, and it improves your interest in sex. So if I had to say, this is one of the ones that I would pull back and say only do if you absolutely have to, and we'll get to the next one. This one is Shatavari. Shatavari is another one that's used in Ayurvedic medicine. It increases your sex drive, girl. It improves your sexual desire as well as your lubrication. So yeah, girl. And then also, what do we big up these days? Wet kitty lubricant. So if the Shatavari ain't doing it, the wet kitty will. Now, ashwagandha, as we talked about different components of depression and things like that. Ashwagandha is great with anxiety and depression. And I guess with treating that, it helps with the sexual desire as well. All right. Again, this is another herb that's in the vag steam. It's called Damiana. Damiana, it really is good for the reproductive organs in the body. It helps with your sexual health as well as your libido. So Damiana is that girl. Red clover. Red clover is a really good one. It helps with vaginal dryness. You could drink some water too, but it helps with vaginal dryness. It helps with low libido, and it helps for women who have pain during intercourse. So sometimes women just don't get as wet as they should. Again, you could use wet kitty, girl, but the red clover is a good one. And it's going to help with the lubrication, so therefore that will help with the pain during intercourse. But red clover, if you have these issues, low libido, vaginal dryness, or pain during intercourse, that might be something that you want to look into. And the last one, this is the second one that I said. Fenugreek was the first one, and yohimbe is another one that I think that you should be a little bit careful with. And the reason for that is it's used to help erectile dysfunction, and it stimulates blood flow by dilating your blood vessels. So it dilates the blood vessels, and kind of that is sometimes what some blood pressure medicines. Well, when you dilate the blood vessels, you drop the blood pressure. So if you're somebody who's on blood pressure medications, yohimbe is probably something you want to talk to your doctor about specifically, and especially the herbalist. But between the fenugreek and the yohimbe, I would say pull back on those two, but all the rest of them, go at it, girl, and see if you can get some relief using herbal medicine. Again, lifestyle is going to be a big part of that. Make sure you're eating non-inflammatory foods. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, making sure you're getting plenty of rest. Who wants to have sex when they're tired? Who desires intercourse when you're tired? You just like, leave me alone. But out of duty and depending on certain situations that people find themselves in, you got to do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. If it's going to be hurtful or harmful to you, don't do it. And for the love of Jesus, just get some rest. Get some rest, okay? So I hope this helps somebody. And I hope that, you guys are starting to see a trend. If you're starting to notice, like, if there's something that I feel that traditional Western medicine is not like slam dunk, boom, bam, this is going to treat this, you're going to take it and you're going to be fine. If that's not the situation that we're finding ourselves in, I am more geared toward pushing toward Eastern medicine. And that's just me. Does not have to be you. You do not have to agree. That is perfectly fine. We don't have to squabble. I'm just telling you what my thoughts and feelings are, even as a Western physician. If we don't have an answer sometimes, maybe it's not on our side of the court. Just my thoughts. But anyway, I hope this helps somebody. And girls, let me tell you, And for us 45, 50 and up ladies, if desire is your issue, run on over. Run, call the office girl. Run on over. And all you, when you they say hello, Atlanta Premier, you just say, I want my pellets. That's all you gotta say. I want my pellets. And we're gonna get you on some bioidentical hormones, girl. We're gonna take care of all of this. The wetness, the tiredness, the fatigue, the mood swings, the lubrication, the desire. We're gonna fix you all up the natural way. And we got you covered, okay? So I hope this helps somebody again. And until next time.